friends.
Hello.
Hey guys, look who's here.
Hi.
We haven't sat down and filmed a video in probably 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, a lot's been happening.
A lot's been going on and I have a lot of questions all the time, like where's mom? What's happening with the podcast? What are we doing? Where are we going? What's going on? Are you guys still talking? Are you close? It's like an automatically assumed thing on the internet if you're not with someone posting videos or talking to them on camera that a relationship doesn't exist.
Well, we're probably functionally codependent, so you never have to worry about whether we're talking to each other.
I talk to her 12 times a day, so we talk every single day. We just haven't sit down and filmed anything, so I went on.
She's been busy, I've been busy. We've had what, hurricanes? What else have we had in 2 years?
Hurricanes, fires. We haven't sat down and filmed anything, so I went on Instagram and I asked you guys to ask us questions, and you guys always come through, so I figured we would check in, say hi, how you doing, and you guys can hear from mom herself how great she is and how amazing she is and wonderful and smart and brilliant and funny.
And I say the same.
And we would answer your questions. I love you.
Love you too.
We never are alone either.
No, this is really nice.
I know. I think it's ever since I've had Everett, my life is just completely different. I posted that video a couple days ago. I don't know if you watched my last vlog. She doesn't watch every video, guys. She's not my biggest fan. I was out back with the kids.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, with the glasses on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my life. I never have peace. And somebody even commented and said, okay, now I understand why you haven't filmed a lot in the last couple of years.
No, Everett is like no chill.
Zero. Like the beyond. Even just getting here without him was an issue. So
he's probably crying now.
Yeah. So I went on Instagram and I asked you guys to ask us questions. There were some on Facebook as well, YouTube, but I figured we would just go ahead.
And she's read them and I haven't, so this is like a lightning round. I don't have any idea.
Well, we can start soft or we can go straight into it.
You're in charge.
Okay, well the first question we got is, what was the hardest trial your relationship went through and how did you get through it? I'm gonna let you take the lead because I was a child. What was our hardest trial and tribulation and how did we get through it?
When you graduated, at the age frame when you graduated from high school.
Okay.
And she had a boyfriend that was not a good guy, and we kind of had to ask her to leave. And
yeah, that's putting it nicely.
You know, we asked her to leave, but we found her an apartment and we
paid for it. Honestly, like I look back at that time and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, real tough love. Get out, but here's an apartment that we got for you.
That I pay the rent on every single month. It was a shit apartment, I'll say that.
Did we pay all the rent?
I never paid a dime to live there.
Yeah. But anyway, it was a tough time. I don't know. It was a tough time. But then my dad got sick and she moved back home, you know, because we were circling the wagons to take care of dad. And that's when we had kind of our conscious, you know, we're going to break the cycle. We're from a long line of complicated mother and daughter relationships. And we went, you know, I just said, we're not going to have that. You know, we're not going to have that kind of complication, that kind of tension, and just accepted you for who you were instead of, you know, my guilt, speaking to you as a mother, was always expecting you to be meeting my expectations of my box of, you know, that I fit into. And
which I never ever did. And you never like said it out loud what your expectations were.
No, but I mean, you know, just...
Normal expectations though, I will say, like good
doing
grades.
Your homework, good grades, you know, because everything else was really fine. That was probably the hardest part. And then I don't know, I just decided we're not going to do that anymore. And I just accept you 100% for who you were. I mean, and look what you've blossomed into. And look what we have. I didn't have this with my mother. She didn't have it with hers.
I would say the same thing. I think we had like a really hard year that year. I moved out and I went to CNA school and I was trying to figure out what I was
very proud of you for doing that. I mean, that was
not for me.
No, but I mean, you did it.
I did it because I had to. I had to have a job. Like you were kind of setting.
Were you not nannying anymore?
I started nannying once I moved in here.
Oh, okay.
Like that weird time was like, I have to have a big girl job so I can start paying. Do I have a booger?
You have something on your lip.
Like it just, we were young. We were both kids, him and I both. He's a good person now. We've grown up.
Right.
But we were just.
I don't know if I'd even recognize him if I saw him.
I probably wouldn't either, honestly.
But we cut the cord, so we're gonna have a different.
Yeah, I think like Papa got sick and I was like, okay, we're done messing around now, because Papa was the man, our man in life. And we weren't gonna spend our time as a family being angry with each other when he needed our attention. So we both, me and you, mostly you, me at that age of 19, we circled the wagons, and it's awful that Papa being sick brought us back together.
That probably a lot of people have a similar story like that.
But that's what happened, and I don't think I changed anything other than I was like, I'm not gonna fight with you about stuff anymore. And I also broke up with the boyfriend. I think that also helped.
And I don't think that he was.
It wasn't
outside.
him.
It wasn't him. It
No.
definitely wasn't him.
It
but-
was just like, it was that time in my life where I was being selfish and childish and not responsible and just really selfish. I would say I was being very selfish. It was about what Lauren wants and what Lauren needs and not about anything else. And Papa was more important than that. So thank you, Papa.
Thank you, Papa.
And we literally, since I moved back in at home, I don't think we've ever had a fight since. Not a real fight.
No.
What impact does she wish to leave on her grandchildren? I love her involvement. I never understood how grandparents choose not to be involved. What impact do you wish to leave on your grandchildren?
I just want them to feel unconditional love from me.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't,
Yeah.
if they, when I'm gone someday and they think of me, I just want them to think Graham always loved me, always accepted me. That's it.
Yeah.
That's easy. It's because I do love them unconditionally.
I know, you really are such a great grandparent.
And that's all I want is for them to know that.
I feel even as a parent, because obviously I have 2 special needs children and the relationship is different than you probably pictured with your grandchildren. It's a little bit different. But
Which makes us sad sometimes. I mean,
I think that's normal.
Yeah.
It makes me sad
and we
sometimes.
talk about it. Papa and I talk about it. He got a little sad around Christmas, and I don't get sad around the holidays. But he's very holiday driven, and
He had a big family. We had a small family.
and had that expectation of presents and excitement, and So I think we feel their differences at different times. But
I noticed their differences at the holidays, and not so much Everett because he's still really young, but Ella now, as she is becoming a preteen or a teenager with those emotions and hormones on top of like where she's at right now as far as not liking presents, and you feel it just because you're like, oh man, it's not the same as everybody else, but you just adjust.
But I think as long as they feel unconditional love from us, that's all that matters.
Yeah. What do you think attributed most to your close relationship?
Just us. What we talked about earlier, just us deciding not to be dysfunctional anymore.
I think it was more of a you thing, honestly, because
you were a kid, so it was that was it.
You just
decided Lauren is her own person. I was how do I want to say it?
We're very different
from my mother to grandmother. I think in our family the pattern was every mother was expecting their daughter to be what they expected them to be, and I fell into that for the most part with my mother. Whether I wanted to fall into that or not, I knew that was what I was supposed to do, and I could just tell that didn't feel right for me, and I didn't want it to do that anymore to you, to make you feel like you should be somebody not true to yourself.
Yeah. I think you just let go of your, like you said, your expectations of me. And I was really able to just be myself. And it was we are very different. You were like, okay, this is expected of me, so I'm going to do it and do it perfect. Not perfect, but perfect. I mean, as perfect as you can or try to be. And you were like, you got the job, you did the college thing, you have a great career and all of these things. And for me, I just never saw that for myself, and I just didn't know. I was like I still sometimes feel like I'm a lost girl.
No, gosh, look at all the difference you've made in the world.
I don't know if I've made that much of a difference.
You have.
I think you've made more of a difference. You've literally saved human lives. I just talk on the
How do
internet.
you know you haven't saved human lives? By somebody that was sad one day and they're watching your videos and they say, life's not so bad.
I hope so. That's my goal always, is to make people feel
sure
that
you
way.
have.
I want people to feel loved and safe. Loved, safe, and like accepted no matter
And
where
relatable.
you are.
The internet,
Yeah.
I was looking today on Instagram, and I won't say who it was, but I don't even know who it was. With the perfectly curated everything. And, it's okay to be ourselves and messy, and, the house isn't always perfect, or, so I think you bring that reality to, because social media is so curated.
I think it's shifting as well. I think there's a lot of people who have also decided like it's too much to keep up. And I tried really hard for a long time to like do the outfits and the hair and have the perfect pictures with my kids.
Although this is the third shirt I've had on because I was looking washed out in the light.
This isn't great lighting. It's coming from above too, so that's like not our best lighting. But I think social media in general and the world in general is starting to open up more to, you don't have to be perfect, and you definitely don't have to do what everyone else is doing to be worthy. I like that we do this. We haven't done this in a long time.
I know, we should do it more, right? Tell her we should do it more.
We should do it more.
I can make time.
What do you wish you would have done differently when raising her around her health and food issues?
Nothing.
Oh, really?
No. Well, no, because, you had a pediatrician that Dr. Choi. I don't even know if she's still alive. She had been sick. I don't know.
Oh.
R.I.P. Dr. Choi.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah, and she never talked about weight. Because I live that life, weight, diet, you can't eat this, you can't eat that. So nothing. I wouldn't do anything different. I think.
She was wonderful. I never even knew I was fat as a child until when I got older.
I knew you would find your own path.
Yeah.
And because when you were a child, you were healthy. So nothing was pointing us to, now obviously if you'd had diabetes or if the doctor would have said you were unwell in some way, we would have adjusted that, but you were healthy and you were active. So no, I wouldn't change anything.
Aww.
No, because I wouldn't do that to you.
No, you really didn't. The only time I ever realized I was overweight is when we switched doctors, when I became like a young woman. When I started having stomach issues because anxiety, that all manifested very early on in my childhood, like 12, 13. Remember I had IBS. That was all because I had anxiety. And
if anything, I feel like I didn't model, like when you see now people talk about, how mothers shouldn't talk about their body issues with their daughters, that kind of stuff. I didn't model good behavior in that way, and I probably still don't, where I go, oh, look at me, look at, or
we're human though.
I know, but I mean, I could have done better with that.
Yeah.
I didn't, just like my mother didn't model good eating healthy. I watched her have disorderly eating, so I have a disordered eating problem, so if anything, I would have tried to be better myself to model better for you, but I wouldn't change, like I would not to say we're going to eat, I don't know, Slim Fast.
Yeah.
I would never, trigger. I would never do that to you.
No, you wouldn't.
But I could have probably done a better job of being more balanced in my behavior, my eating behavior.
I think my food issues stem from other things, just other experiences in my childhood that have nothing to do with you.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's safe to say.
Yeah, I don't take any.
You shouldn't, and I'm glad you don't.
I don't.
Oh, someone said, is Lauren an only child? Do I have any siblings?
She's it.
That's it.
Yep.
I'm the golden child. I wouldn't want it any other way.
And kind of when her biological father and I were married, we only ever really wanted one.
Oh, and that's how we felt about Ella for the longest time.
But now Pop and I, when we said, gosh, if we'd have met when we were young, we probably would have had 4 kids together.
Absolutely.
But it's just a different.
They were, how old were you when you met Pop?
37 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was gone all the time. Right. Like he was, I know
we had a brief window where we tried to have a baby, but he wasn't home much and it didn't work out.
And it's perfect science. Like it's literally perfect science. So just from being in the trying to conceive world, you literally have to be, it has to be perfect. So it just didn't work out that way. I did grow up with step siblings on my biological father's side. And I've always said this on my channel. I think those were very formative years for me. And I'm really thankful that it was part-time. Like I didn't have to, well, honestly.
I mean, in some ways it's easier to have when the time comes and Pop and I are old and, I'll feel bad that you have to deal with it on your own.
I'm fine with that.
But I'll also be glad that you don't have to hash it out with another sibling.
I've watched way too much hashing out between siblings, not just you and your sibling with that kind of thing, but in all siblings across the board, it tends to be an issue.
It's your show when we get old and
I want to run the show. I feel like
what's going to happen.
I have major older sibling energy there. I couldn't imagine having to like navigate someone else's feelings, and I'm glad that I was able to receive all your love and attention. Clearly, the spoiled brat in me is like, I don't want a brother. But I did grow up with step siblings on the other side for 15 years, and it did help me.
And Pop doesn't have any children, so he didn't bring a child. He brought a cat.
He did bring a cat. She was like a sibling. How would you describe teenage Lauren, and how is she different now? Or how are you different now? How am I different now? How would you describe teenage me?
You were so much fun. I mean, you were the life of the party. You always had friends over. I was always taking you girls places. But your room was a mess. Yeah. How many times did I stand at the foot of the stairs and yell up to Lauren?
I still get PTSD.
Lauren! Yeah. Escalating to get you up because you've always been a good sleeper.
I never woke up on time.
But you weren't a bad teenager, like you didn't stay out.
I always came home on time.
Came home on time. You didn't really make as far as we were aware, bad choices, like, you know, you weren't coming home. If you were coming home drunk or whatever, we didn't know.
No.
You know, like, we never got any calls from school other than not doing your work. Or, you know,
I just didn't do good in school.
Yeah.
I didn't do good in school, and I was
And
a
that's
mess.
the part that was always frustrating to me, because all I ever said is, just do good in school and I won't be on your butt about anything. That's how I was raised. You know, you do good in school and whatever. But you just refused to do good in school until the last 2 weeks of your senior year.
My last 2 weeks, because they said I wasn't going to graduate.
Right, you pulled it out of your...
And I got straight A's because I was like, well, that's embarrassing. Like, I'm not going to not walk across the stage.
Right.
And I mean, I didn't come this far to not graduate.
But I mean, I have fun. We had fun, you know, with teenage Lauren. Heather practically lived here for a while. And that was fun. You know, and then you had Val and Stephanie and all the girls. So we always had,
it was fun.
Yeah, it was a house full of life.
I have very fond memories of my teenage years. I had a blast. I had a blast.
And Pop traveled a lot, so we I saw a video the other day of when my husband travels, the kids and I act like college roommates, and we just eat whatever we want to eat, watch what we want to watch.
We had girl dinner.
Yeah, we had girl dinners before it was a thing.
Oh yeah,
you know.
we had girl dinner, and we'd watch our show together. And we American Dreams. We always watched.
Well, that is a family.
But that was on Sundays, so when he wasn't here, we would do it.
Yeah.
We watched the nightly news every night, 6 p.m.
Oh, yeah.
Brian Williams.
Oh, 6:30.
6:30. Yeah. Brian Williams, right?
Yep, back then.
I had a great time.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Teenage me, I wouldn't take it back. I mean, if I could go back in time, I'd probably try and do better in school just so that I learned more, because truly not paying attention for all those years, it really does bite you in the ass as an adult when you don't know certain things. I don't think
But you can learn them too.
You really can, and I'm learning now more as an adult than I ever did as a young adult or child or
Well,
teenager.
I wish we had lived in a bigger area where you could have gone to a Montessori school, because you could learn anything if you were interested in it.
And they have to show me.
And that was probably undiagnosed ADHD. Nobody ever would have... They didn't talk about it with girls anyway. They just...
Anxious, couldn't pay attention, couldn't keep mess.
But if you could hyper-focus on something that you were into. So, you know, but again, that's not a regret either. But if we lived in a big area, a Montessori school would have been the way for you to learn.
And in this day and age now, childhood me, I would have had a totally different life. Like, and it all worked out for how it was supposed to work out for me. But I definitely was undiagnosed ADHD. Maybe even a little possibly on the spectrum, not socially. I think socially I'm pretty good.
But nobody ever said that back then.
I was just anxious. I was just anxious.
And you didn't present anxious as a teenager.
No, it was all internal. It was very much internal struggle. My stomach, my IBS, that was pure anxiety just all the time. Yeah. It was because I was trying to keep too many people, I was a people pleaser. I was trying to keep too many people happy, which also involved a lot of lying in my younger years because I was also between two homes, like divorce. So I'm trying to manage the emotions of two households so that everybody gets along and the peace is kept. All I ever wanted was peace. Right. Has your mom read any good books recently? It's Mom's favorite questions.
Oh my. I just read one that yes, I read a lot.
She reads a lot.
I just read one that really, really struck me, and they're turning it into a movie. It was called Skin Town by Kieran McMaranan. I'm probably saying it wrong. It's a British show that we watch. He's an actor, and you know, when you look up the actor and then blah blah. It was really, really good. It was about it was in Ireland in the time of the Troubles, and it was really, really like a page turner. And I'm reading a kind of a deep one now called The Sand Pebbles. If anybody out there is older, this is older than me. I guess they made a movie of it in the 60s or 70s with Steve McQueen. But it's deep. It's about, you know, moral choices and so.
Mom's reading all the time. There's always multiple books in the...
I have a problem. I take one to one of the free libraries to return one, and I take two more. Yeah. And then when we went to Perrine's the other day, I'm like, oh, there's a used bookstore. 3 books later, $8. It was only $8.
No, that you can never have too many books. No. I'm learning that as an adult. I'm a reader too, but I have a harder time reading than Mom does. But reading was always something I was allowed to do when I didn't have a television in my room as a child. Like I could read, and I read a lot of books.
And you can read whatever you want. I never stopped what you read.
I read some serious stuff in my day, and I appreciate your love of reading. It really did carry over for me. And that's a good way.
And my parents were readers. My grandmother was a reader. You know, I come from readers.
Reading is good for your brain. It keeps your brain active, and you never ever want to lose that ever.
Right. And it's better than I make sure I try to read. Lauren has taught us the joy of comfort shows. So now before we go to bed, we watch a comfort show, which is All Things Great and Small is what we're watching now on PBS, and then read. You know, because social media just pollutes our brains.
Pollutes our brains,
You know,
everybody.
and it's designed to fire you up and
you don't want to live in that state
reading takes you elsewhere.
Go elsewhere.
Go elsewhere.
And what are your goals for 2025? Do you have any goals?
Oh, was that a question or are you
Yeah,
asking?
no, I'm asking you. We'll end it with your goals. They know my goals, so I figured I'd ask
Oh.
what your goals are.
Well, I'm going to take some writing classes
Yes.
and try to, I don't know.
Write a book.
Well, yeah. Well, I've said I'll have a book written by the end of the year. Now, published is another story, but
You'll be
I want to get something published this year, even if it's just a thing to go in the upper room devotional or something like that.
Yeah.
I want to get something published.
Mom is an amazing writer, and you really do need to put...
My other dream to get published is in a story in Modern Love, in the Modern Love column in the Sunday New York Times.
Yeah, my one thing I have to do when she passes someday is I have to put her obituary in the New York Times. She reads all the
Sunday New York Times.
The
I read
Sunday New York
only
Times.
the ones with the pictures, so it's got to be a picture.
It will be a picture, and she's going to
I'm gonna write a
proofread.
template.
She's gonna write a template that I can fill out for me, because I'm just not naturally a good writer like you are.
And it's so people have fascinating lives.
Absolutely.
That's the beauty of obituaries. You're like, wow, you know, like this lady might have been, I don't know, a banker as her job, but I don't know. It's like people are fascinating. You just need to.
All humans are
All human-
fascinating.
yeah, right.
It really, truly, and I'm one of those people, this may sound really niche, but like I drive down our streets at night and I look in people's houses. That may sound really weird too.
Oh, I was just telling Yolanda, I do the same thing.
Oh my gosh. And I'm like, I wonder what it smells like in there. I wonder what they had for dinner. I wonder what they do. I wonder how they're feeling.
We all live lives. We all live lives.
And we really do. And I just see I love seeing people just live their life and how it is different from mine or the same, or like how humans are all the human experience is just such a beautiful thing. It really is. It's magic. And I think you can get lost in it and be like, oh, everybody's bad, the world sucks. But like, generally speaking, humans are incredible.
And even the people that we think suck still have a human life.
Yep. As always, I love making YouTube videos. I'm happy to be back. I feel like this is a really good way to get back.
Is this one of your goals for 25?
Yeah, big time. Because I abandoned ship. I just said last month, Helix is the only reason I kept going is because I signed contracts with them. And I feel awful that all I did was put out content with sponsorships in it, but it kept me honest. It kept me on here. And I'm thankful because I was able to circle back and like find the joy in it again. And I really am finding the joy in it again, connecting with people, the humans, my humans. Peace out.
Peace out.
Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you guys in the next vlog. And always say nice things about my mother in the comments below. I love to read it. She's amazing. See you soon. Bye, friends.
Bye.